welcome to part 4. Right, just to get this pushed on, I'm going to show you what we're going to do next. We're going to put that cowling on to the undercarriage, and as you can see, the wheel is quite free to turn. Now, a word of advice here: study the instructions very carefully on this, because I nearly made a mistake. But to their credit, they do show you both sides independently, so they're obviously aware it's easy to make a mistake. So let's make a start. Okay, I would suggest you lay out your parts the same in the photographs in the instructions. Okay, now they say overlap and bond two identical PS from foam boards. Okay, so what they mean is that this is the odd one out. These two are the same. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's put this over here for a minute. We're going to bond these together. Okay, I'm going to use the UFO glue. All right. Now try to align these as best you can, because if they're not properly aligned, the wheel won't turn. Okay. Try and get them as exact as you can. There you go. All right. So what you do is you're doubling up those two parts. Okay, so just to show what the difference is close up, you see how that one's got a tongue on the top and that hasn't. Okay, so you put them together, make sure you've got no hairs sticking to it like that. Okay, and then what they ask you to do then is overlap and bond the other PS foam board. So if you've got it this way round, this orientation, this is for the opposite leg, so this is for the starboard side, which is the right hand side. Okay, port being left. Okay, this then goes there like that. Okay, it's really important you double check what you're doing. As I said, I nearly made that mistake, so I read it through a couple of times, and it's worth going forward on the instructions just to see, have a look ahead, and then all of a sudden the penny drops and you go, ah, right, okay, I understand now. Okay, so spread that UFO glue. Okay, and put that together with that. And really line it up. It's important to make sure they're all symmetrical and lined up. Okay, so now you've got that. Okay, and then you put that down for a minute. Now the next instruction is assemble the PS foam board and printed KT board according to the corresponding outlines. Now what they're talking about there is you've got to line up one of these. Now you'll have to study the photograph carefully, but basically there's a line, score line there, and what you've got to do, that score line matches the line on the opposite side, like that. Okay, now I'm going to pop a bit of zap on it. Just to hurry this along a little bit. Okay, so see that score line? That should then marry up. Okay, I'll put a bit of fixer on it. There you go. So now you've got that. Yeah? Right. Now, moving on to the next part. So, just satisfy myself that this is right. Now, you've got to put the, well, let me see if I got this right now. But I'm about to think twice about it already. Let's have a look. Yeah, that then goes on there. Okay, you see that cut out at the bottom? Okay, so you're going to look like that. And you'll notice that here they're doubled up. Yeah, so we're going to stick that on. Okay, I'm going to use the UFO glue for that because it allows us to maneuver it while the glue's still drying to get it all matched up. If you use the zap glue on it, it'll dry almost instantly and you haven't got enough time to adjust it. Okay, just spread that out like that, and then hang on, I've got this the right way around again. See, you've got to keep double checking it. I begin to wonder myself now. Hang on. Because it can't only go on one way, can't it? Yeah. Have I got the right one? No, I haven't got the right. That's why, because I've picked up the wrong blooming one. That's how easy it is to make a mistake if you're not giving it your full attention. And line that up. It's easy to make a mistake. They do say, you know, to save confusion, so they are aware that you can get easily confused, which I just did then. I lost my orientation basically. Okay, so now we're left with those two parts there. Alright, so then what we've got to do is just to utilise the engraved lines for assistance in positioning the installed on the landing gear support foam board to the other side and pay attention to the front and rear orientation. So you've got to glue these together. Okay, you've got to look for that score line. There's a score line there. Okay, and then that goes on like that. Like that. Now be careful that you don't close this gap here. See that gap? Be careful you don't close that up because you're going to need that gap. So I think I'm going to use a bit of CA on that. Okay, so once you put this on with the zap glue, you're committed. Okay, so what you end up with is that. Yep. Right, so that's all done there. Now, let me just give this a bit of a wipe down. Don't want any tears later. Okay, so moving on to the next part. Assembly of the two parts of the single landing gear is now complete. Okay, and then it's a case of attaching it to the wheel. So it says install the thicker landing gear foam board component to the outer side of the landing gear. So now you pick up your model, turn it upside down, and you put the thicker side, this side, the thicker side, onto there. Do a trial fit, dry fit. Okay, there you go. The wheel should still be able to turn, hopefully. It's a little bit catching on the top here a little bit. So what we'll do, we'll just take a little bit out. Right, still waiting for that UFO glue to cure. Be extra careful. Okay, I'll free it up. Yeah, that wheel now turns. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to put some tissue there. I'm going to run, where's the glue gun? Going to run some of that glue there. Okay. Alright. Then, where's my, there's my zap. I'm going to put some zap on here. Well, actually, before I do that, you can, if you want, get a black Sharpie pen and colour in these white bits if you want to, because they're going to show a little bit. Okay. There is a sticker to go on here, but it does show some white bits, so it doesn't hurt. Okay. There you go. Right. And then I'm going to put a bit of zap on here. Actually, right, making sure everything is all lined up. Put some glue on there. Okay, a little bit extra up the length there. and that goes in place. Okay. Right. My finger's stuck to it. That's better. Okay, that wheel turns. Okay, it's important you want the wheel turning. Alright. Now, all you've got to do then, and I'll read it out to you, install the thinner landing gear foam board component to the inner side of the landing gear. So in other words, take that part there, do a dry fit, like that, and it should just line up, which it does. Okay, let's take another look at that. There are some grooves in there, so the metal part of the gear goes through that little strip. Okay. Alright. Take that out again. I want to take a bit more foam out of that, to be truthful. I can see the wheels just touching it. I wonder if I can just squash it a bit. Yeah, that's it, it's moving now. That's fine. I haven't got an issue with that. So make sure the black outside's on, well, the outside, and the white bit's on the inside. Okay, so let's put some glue on. There we go. And that's got to go that way around. Some glue down here. Glue down here and here. Okay, and on the bottom, stick it to the wing. Alright, I'm going to be as quick as I can with this now. Yep, that wheel's still turning okay, so no problem there. And that's done. So there's only one thing left to do. Let's put the sticker on. So, put the top of this. Here's your stickers. Now they do advise to put some extra glue on these. They're not that tacky, to be truthful. But one thing I did notice doing the other leg was that once you peeled it off, there's some little lines there. They're fold lines. Okay, so you've got to fold it that way and that way, so it will look like that. Okay, now I'm going to run some UFO glue on it. I found that worked better than the CA. Okay, spread that along nice and even. Now, this is where it gets tricky. So you have it that way up, and where that fold is there, that goes on the bend. Okay, and then you just ease it over. You've got to get that lined up with that leg. And that's your first sticker done. Might need a bit more glue on there. Do that later. Then you take your second sticker Okay, and there's some folds in here as well, so just let me remind myself. Okay, yeah, this folds that way and then that way. Oh, a bit too much. Like that. Okay, we'll put some glue on it. Here it is. Okay, I need the toothpick. There you go. Now I've got glue all over my fingers now. Now, you've got to get this underneath or between the ply underneath the wing there. So get that up there. Okay. Okay. And you just let that go off, and that's your undercarriage stringer there, look. Yeah, it's your undercarriage finished. Wheels are turning, no problem. Right, so I'm going to put these glues to one side just for now. And what's next is doing the connecting the controls up. So I'm going to stop the video there and have a bit of clean up, and then we'll come straight back. Right then, we're now on the final furlong. It's the final countdown, right? So we're on the road. So what we're going to do next? What we're going to do next is glue in the rudder horn, the elevator horn, the aileron horns, and fix in the aileron linkage there, just like that. Nothing difficult about it at all. Okay, highly recommend at this point put some sellotape at the bottom of the rudder, because there's nothing holding it there, and you're going to need that to keep the rudder doing what you need it to do. Okay, so now we come to the linkages. Now with the linkages, I'm going to show you this only once, because you just got to replicate it. Now we're going to start with the possibly the elevator. You have some carbon rods which are supplied, and you have the linkages. Now I'll wet my finger. These are manufactured linkages. You can make your own, nothing difficult about it. This linkage goes on the elevator and the rudder. Okay, and I think it goes on the ailerons off the top of my head. Okay, and you'll have, licking my finger. Ooh, come on. You'll have these which go on the servo side. Now, if you're not familiar with these, this just goes in just as it's a 90 degrees bend, and then this bit here goes the other side of the arm and just holds it in, and that attaches to there like that. Then you get your heat shrink tubing here. You cut 4 pieces 5mm long. I'm going to be exactly 5mm long, but roughly 5mm long. Okay, a little bit longer than all the better. Now then, to put this on, what you've got to do, get your heat shrink, pop it over the top of the carbon rod. Okay, by the way, this is a shout out. Cliff Harvey has done a video on how to do this, by the way. So if you want to look at Cliff Harvey's video, I think what's it called? Control rod linkages, I think it's called. I'll have to look it up. if I can find it, I'll stick it on the credits at the end. Okay, you take this and you pop that in the end there. Okay, and you want to go up about, I don't know, 15 millimeters, centimetre and a half, something like that, Okay, then pop some glue on, or you could do it two ways round. Top off, or broken the top off. Look at that, broken the top off. Oh, I don't know. All right, put that to one side. We use this. So you pop a bit of glue on. Doesn't matter which way round you do this particularly. Just put that up at the top a little bit more like that. It's about 15 mil. There you go. Okay. And then what you do, pop a bit of glue on a little dab. There you go. Well, wipe off the excess. Find me paper. Okay. And then with the heat shrink, I highly advise you, and listen to this, highly advise you, use a soldering iron. Don't use a flame or anything like that, okay? You can use a heat gun, but not if it's attached to the model, don't do it. You'll end up in bad ways. And just apply a little bit of heat, and that will shrink the tube. Okay, there you go. Right, and that won't pull off now. That's in. Just to make sure, I'm gonna add a little bit of kick off camera. There you go. That's done. And then all you're going to do is when you come to the other end, just copy that, but you've got to cut this to length, okay? I have my own little methods for doing that, but we'll see how we get on. So, let me see. So if we start with the elevator, okay. Now the elevator is on the starboard side, and you just flick that over and it goes in like that. See how easy that is? That is really easy, really simple. Okay. Now you have a little bit of excess left over. Now I'm just going to unhook it because I haven't got it between the, there you go, the horizontal stabilizer bracket. There you go. So you've now got that in that position there. Okay, that's going nowhere right now. Now also, yes, before I forget, topical, the Baron Flight's topical tip for this video: get yourself a clothes peg. Put a clothes peg over the rudder, so the rudder doesn't move. Okay, same for the elevator, same for the ailerons. You take this part here, which goes into the elevator horn. Okay, now if you're wondering why there's a U-bend there, believe it or not, that U-bend offers you adjustment. So if you need to adjust it physically, because these are not screwed in, there's no screw adjustment, you can either squeeze it together with a pair of fine pliers to make it the rod shorter, or you can stick something in there and make it a little bit longer. And that, believe it or not, is your final adjustments. That's the only adjustment you'll have. So that's why it's most important to have your servos centered first. So what we'll do, we'll grab that, and you want the U piece facing this way. And what we'll do, put that through like that. Let it go underneath the... Well, we're supposed to be doing the rudder, aren't we? No, we're not. Yes, we're doing the elevator. Ah, idiot. Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, so put your peg on the elevator. So I apologise for that. Where's my tweezers gone? Now you might need some tweezers like these. This is just a protective thing, save you stabbing yourself or anybody else for that matter. And we'll just get that behind the back of the rods there. And then we bring up the carbon rod. Okay. And try and use some accuracy if you can. And then mark that rod. Now I should have somewhere, I know we've got black on black, but it should be able to mark it okay. I'll take up the final adjustment later, and we'll just get that up there, and that hits there. Okay, now we mark the carbon rod, and we take the carbon rod off. And this is where the balanced topical tip comes in. Now then, there's the rod, there it is. And I can just about see, yeah, I can see the mark. Now you want to cut it about halfway between. So if I just grab a ruler, halfway between, I can't see the mark, oh there's the mark, yeah, okay. So that's 17 millimeters. Let's call it 18 to split the difference. 2 9s are 18, so I want to go back 9 millimeters. Now I can't use this blade for what I'm about to do, so I have to use my normal blade. Sorry, can't use this blade, it's not strong enough, so I'm going to have to use the normal blade. Go back 9 millimeters. Okay, it's about there, and if you can see that all right, and then put the knife on it and roll the carbon rod backwards and forwards, and there you go, that's done. All right, now this is important not to forget to put your heat shrink on. Okay, you must remember to have heat shrink on the end of it there. So you've got your heat shrink there, your heat shrink there. All right, do not forget that, because you're going to feel pretty silly if you do. Right, I'll just put that ruler back just for a minute. Oh, in here I've pre-cut the heat shrinks to 5mm roughly. Okay, so we'll just put that over there. So we're doing the elevator, not the rudder. Silly old man. Okay, so what we're going to do, okay, so lift down that little securing bar there, and that goes in the hole, so the securing bar is underneath. Okay, now making sure that heat shrink doesn't fall off, turn it upside down. Oh, before I forget, in the UK we have shops called Aldi, stuff like, is it Aldi? What's the other one? Can't remember. Anyway, every spring they sell Lidl. They sell Lidl gliders, which you can convert to 4-channel, which I also show on this channel. But also they sell Parkside assorted heat shrink. So if you run out of heat shrink, go down to Lidl and you can get some more heat shrink in all different colours and different sizes. And the pennies, they cost almost nothing. Anyway, I digress. So we offer up, I'm going to get a bit of tissue here, because I don't want to drop any glue on anything. I'd rather it dropped on the tissue than anything else. I might put some tissue underneath. Okay, and that will help lift it up as well. So we get the wire, hang on, what's that sticking out there? Don't want that. Get the wire sticking out of the horn. lift that up. Yes, it is a bit fiddly, I admit. Okay, and we pull that tissue back. I apologise for my hands being in the way. Right now I can't help that. Put the tissue in. This is why I want to show you this only once. There you go. Just so I don't drip glue everywhere accidentally. Okay, and it also helps to act as like a third hand. Right, now you've got your heat, just double check that heat shrink's there. Yes, it is. Okay, and what you do, you bring up that heat shrink. Okay, get the metal rod underneath the heat shrink if you can. A little bit fiddly. Right, here we go. There you go. Get it in your pot. That's it. Right. Got that end in. The other end's popped out. You're going to behave this time, aren't you? There you go. There you go. And double check that your servo horn is actually vertical. Yeah, because I've just knocked it. So make sure that's vertical and central. All right, now I can pull that paper back a little bit. And now we have that bit of heat shrink over the top of that wire. I'm going to pull that heat shrink back slightly, a few millimeters, because you want it over the carbon rod. And there you go, that's where I want it. Okay, so now before you commit yourself, that elevator is central, that servo arm is central, and then what we're going to do, we're going to drop that bit of glue on. This is the other reason I want that tissue there. Okay, there you go, that's glued on. Put a little bit of fix on it. There you go. And then what we're going to do, we're going to get the iron. These are hot, by the way. I don't suppose it's any use for me to say don't burn yourself. Just be aware that's hot. All right, and then just lightly heat it up, and that'll shrink up. That's all you need. And take the paper out. So there you have your first linkage. Your peg's there, so your elevator's at neutral. Your servo horn is in centralised, so that's at neutral. And that's it. That's what you do. And you just replicate that for the rudder. And I think there is a measurement for the ailerons. Let me just double check. Cut 40 millimeters length of carbon rod for use as aileron linkage. So they're saying 4 centimeters. So cut a 4 centimeter length of carbon rod for use with the aileron linkage. Use heat shrink tubing to connect the linkage to the servo wire clamp and apply 502 glue to secure it. So yeah, it's 40 millimeters, which is 4 centimeters, and then you just replicate that from there to the servo that's shown there in that little box. Can you see that? Okay, can you see where that is? So you put that in, and then it goes to here, and that will be correct. So I'm going to do all that now. I'm just going to follow exactly the same process as that. It's pointless me doing it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. You just be bored, and it just take up time. And then I'll come straight back to you. But that's how you do it. Okay. Now don't rush it. Take your time. Don't get burnt. and you'll be all right. Trust me, if you've never done it before, it looks ominous, but it's not. It's okay. So I'll come straight back to you as soon as I finish the rest. Right then, everything is connected. You can see the rod we put in earlier for the elevator, the rudder. It's just a carbon copy of that. We put the aileron rods in. We pop the battery in, powered it up. Now, all we've got to do now, well, there's one more thing left to do, is check the movements. So you need to check your movements that your up elevator is actually going up and down. There's plenty of movement there as well. You need about 5 mil each way. Your rudder's turning the right way. The ailerons are working with a 5 mil movement. And then lastly of all, the propeller. There you go. That's spinning the correct way. Now, what I would advise you to do, if you've got the ability to have it to hand, is there's an oil called Laco Zoom Spout oiler. They use this on oiling watches, you know, the old-fashioned watches with the Swiss-made watches and stuff. Very light oil. You can use it on sewing machines and so forth. Just put a little bit, if you have it available, on the gearage there. It'll help it to do its job. Okay, the battery's gone in underneath here, and I'll just use this toothpick here just to open that up so you can have a look at it. Come on, don't be naughty. And there you go, the battery goes in there. Just put a bit of Velcro in there so it doesn't move around. And this is the mechanism for the ailerons, so you're working there. And then of course you've got the magnet in there, which I like to call a battery for some reason. There you go, that ain't going to come out. That's all fully operational. Now, we've got one thing left to do, and you've got to leave the battery in to do this. And that is to balance the model. So give me a second or two. Now, the centre of gravity is on the crease where the wing goes like this. And what I've done, I use this on many models. This has just got a larger wingspan than some of the micro planes I've built. But nevertheless, you want to get that absolutely level there. And that looks absolutely spot on first go. I don't think I need to adjust anything there. And this is how it's made. It's just a plain piece of wood, 2 pieces of dowel in it, and some cocktail sticks there. Now, you can make a simpler one, which is this one that I sometimes use for this kind of model. It's just 2 cocktail sticks on a piece of wood, and what you do, you just put it into there like that, okay, and let it rest on top. So I can't see underneath too well. There you go. There you are. And in this instance, that's balancing. So there you are. That's balanced out. Everything's working. All the surfaces are moving. We have the prop working. There's no undue noises or anything like that. And I think if the weather's okay tomorrow and it's not too cold, because I'm an old man now and I feel the cold, if there's no wind and so forth, and no rain, I'll take that for a maiden flight. And I'll probably do that as a separate video, just a 5-minute thing. So there you go. That is the end of part 4. You have a completed model there. The wheels are rotating and working. Everything's working. It's balancing out first go. Comments on it? Well, to be honest, it's a pretty easy model to put together. It's a good kit. The instructions are okay. There's 1 or 2 things, but you know, with the instructions that could be a little bit clearer. But I think they've recognised that, especially when you're making the fairings for the undercarriage. They've recognised that, and they've put it in for one side and the other. But it's probably a little bit hard to grasp at first. But once you've got it, you've got it. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I'd recommend that. I think if you're a first-time modeller, especially into micro aircraft, it's a good start. It's a good start. I've not done minimum RC model before, so I'm quite happy with it, you know, and yeah, I'd recommend it. Give it a go. And if the weather's okay, we'll see the maiden flight. So for all of you out there, thank you for tuning in. I hope you found it interesting and informative. And I'd also like to say that I don't ask for money. I don't ask for coffees or buy me a coffee or anything like that. All I'd really like to do is give us a thumbs up as a minimum. And if you can, subscribe to the channel. I do many types of models, and I'm working on some things right now that are going to blow your mind. So, you know, it's all sorts with me. There you go. So thank you very much. Remember the Baron flights, and thank you for tuning in, and enjoy your modelling. Thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.